Hi, today we're going to be talking about preventing and handling cyberbullying at Ulysses High School. First off, what is cyberbullying? It's any type of harassing, threatening, demeaning, or embarrassing of another person online. It can happen through computers, tablets, cell phones, even gaming systems. Some of the forms of cyberbullying are rumors, embarrassing photos, videos, hurtful text messages, stalking, threatening language, and sexual harassment. Other forms that we're not as familiar with are outing, which is reading someone's text messages off their phone or showing pictures or videos that they could consider embarrassing. Trolling, which is purposely commenting in a nasty way about somebody's picture or a comment they made in order to anger them and incite a reaction from them. Fraping is hacking into somebody's account. Kids need to be mindful of this, that they're not giving away kids' passwords to their accounts so that their accounts cannot be hacked. Fake profiles, people make those to be able to troll people and to be able to say things without their identity being exposed. Trickery is pretty dangerous. It's one of the ones where somebody they have a profile and they try to gain somebody's trust. They get pictures, they get information from them, and they later turn around and use that against the person. And then dissing is putting cruel information out there that damages relationships with others. So it could be friends playing friends against others and just putting out really damaging information. Different platforms, Snapchat, Instagram is supposed to be the worst of all of them. TikTok is a newer app that kids are really getting into. They make little dances to go with the music that's on. There's comments that could be left on there. That is one that I haven't heard as much in schools of ugliness being said about others on it, but it's probably going to be one that leads to that. YouTube, not one of the higher problems with cyberbullying. Facebook, I don't think that one's as high because I think a lot of kids are moving away from that. I think that's where older people get to show pictures of the grandkids, and it's become very much a political platform for people. So kids are kind of steering clear of that. And then Messenger is another one. Twitter's another one. I didn't put it on here. I realize I forgot that one. But again, I don't think kids utilize that as much until they get older. So those are some of the main platforms where cyberbullying can take place. Effects of cyberbullying: social anxiety, depression, skipping school, which leads to poor grades. Drugs and alcohol could be something that it leads to. Harming oneself, eating disorders, suicidal thoughts, and possible suicide if no one is there to help kids. Those who have been bullied also could end up turning around and perpetuating the problem by becoming bullies themselves. So who does it affect the most? It mainly girls. They're the biggest group that it affects. Girls also are the ones that are calling one another derogatory things online, and they're doing a lot of the cyberbullying themselves. Boys tend to go with terms such as gay toward one another. And boys, I think, may not report it as frequently, which would also elevate the numbers for girls as far as cyberbullying goes. So tips for teens. What can we teach teens in order to help them to deal with cyberbullying? They need to report it to schools. You do not just sit and let these things happen to you. Somebody has to know what's going on. Sometimes it's good for schools to have some kind of anonymous reporting system in place. And that's something that I think our school needs to look at. Collecting evidence, we need to teach kids to make sure that they're screenshotting things, saving images of messages. They can even screen record videos that have been sent to them. If adults can see what's happening and have proof of it, a lot of times it's a lot easier to deal with handling the situation. Students need to understand that they can report to sites and apps, and they'll regulate what's being said on their site or app if they have a report of cyberbullying that's taking place on their app. Talk to a trusted adult. Kids need to have relationships with people. They need to have those relationships so that when something does happen, they have somebody that they can go to. It can be a parent, a teacher, counselor, a coach, even a friend of a family, but they've got to talk to somebody that they trust. And demonstrate care. Show a person that they're not alone. Make them understand that you don't agree with whatever's going on cyberbullying. Sometimes it's just letting kids know they have their back. Working together. Kids can be the biggest force against cyberbullying. If kids can stick up for other kids, they can work to get those people to stop doing what they're doing. When they can outnumber the people that are bullying others, that's extremely powerful. Working together. So as long as they're working together, they should be able to really help to end the problem. Telling them to stop. This is not always the most effective thing. And a lot of times it doesn't work. But at least teaching kids to tell somebody to stop is teaching them to stick up for one another. If you stay silent about stuff, sometimes it's just going to continue. Don't encourage it. We need to teach other kids that when somebody says something online, that they don't jump in on it. They don't jump in on the bandwagon. Don't forward things. Don't keep it going. And don't just stand there on the sidelines and let it happen. Be somebody that speaks up for your friends. This is definitely something we need to teach kids. Stay safe. Don't put yourself in harm's way. And resisting the urge to post something that could escalate a situation. Kids need to know not to ever put threatening information to retaliate against somebody that has written something harmful about them. That can actually be used against them, and they would end up getting in greater trouble than the person that was cyberbullying them in the first place. And then don't give up. I think everybody needs to work toward ending the cyberbullying that's becoming a massive problem for teens today and for adults. But teens, we really need to work to help them through this. So what can schools do? Okay, so there's been pretty groundbreaking court cases that kind of build on one another. And basically, schools need to be able to prove that speech and behavior has caused a substantial interference with on-campus activities. So threatening and derogatory comments were made towards staff during the JS versus Bethlehem Area School District. It was very easy for the school to be able to prove that it caused a disruption and was threatening towards staff members. Therefore, the courts ruled that the punishment that was in place for the child was going to stay put. And that ruling stood. Also, the Kowalski versus Berkeley College, a girl created a MySpace page that was a targeted attack on a classmate. Courts also upheld that ruling that she could be punished because her behavior substantially disrupted the learning environment at a school. So as long as schools can prove that whatever is happening outside of school is affecting the environment inside the school during the day for other students, then kids can be held accountable for things that they post outside of school along with what they're posting inside of school. And so I think that's important that schools know they do have the right to stop behavior and to get involved in behavior that is happening outside of school. Okay, so when is the First Amendment right not protected? So again, kids want to rely on the First Amendment right and that they have a right to say what they want. They have freedom of speech. Well, They do not have that freedom when it interferes with the educational process or school discipline, when it disrupts learning, when it uses school-owned technology to harass. So in our school, we have Chromebooks, and so when kids take those Chromebooks home and that's what they utilize in order to cyberbully, that goes against that. And then when it threatens other students or infringes on their civil rights. So one of the studies by the Lambert Foundation for Child Safety gave the do's and don'ts of deterring bullying. So some of the things they said was, do give students a stake in conformity so that they can make those decisions of things that will affect them in a positive or negative way. Connect and interact with students and develop a positive school climate. Some of the don'ts are, do not increase formal sanctions. Zero tolerance policies are not the best route with this. And then do not utilize public shaming. So the USD 214 policies, what are some of the things that we're trying to do? We are going through trainings every year on cyberbullying. Now, one of the things that we have, which is a no cell phone policy in class without teacher permission, despite the 2010-2016 school survey on crime safety, our statistics have proved contradictory to the because they have decreased problems that we've had with inappropriate cell phone use and cyberbullying. But studies show that normally schools that have a no cell phone policy, they have an increased problem with cyberbullying. We have user agreements that are signed by parents and students about our technology and how it should be used in schools and the procedures if somebody uses them inappropriately. Relationships, those are huge. We are pushing really hard for teachers, everybody, to build relationships with students. That way, when something does happen, kids are going to feel much more comfortable to come to us. Seminar is a time where we've been working on character building. And so a lot of our lessons have focused around cyberbullying and how to stop it and ways that students can cope with this and reach out to people for help. We have set clear consequences. However, even though we have clear consequences, our school does look at doing things at a case-by-case method, knowing that not every case is going to be the same. So I think Ulysses High School, we're doing a pretty good job with cyberbullying and preventing it. And so thank you very much. And lastly, I have my references. And these are where you can further find information about cyberbullying and methods on preventing it.